All right. And with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. I know some folks are still filing in. Please feel free to do that. But I think we're at a critical mass. So, first, I just want to say again, welcome and thank you so much for joining us. I am so relieved and happy to be in this space with all of you today as we continue to see the devastating effects of this federal administration, with everything from what is happening in Los Angeles to Medicaid to the federal workforce and so much more. So, with that in mind, tonight we are focused on how we can work together to mobilize and make a difference in the states. Just to give you a quick rundown of our agenda, I am going to talk for a few more minutes at the top here, but I'm not going to take too much time because we are going to hear from a panel of some of our alumni state legislators. Then we're going to hear from a couple of our volunteers, and then we're going to talk about how you can take action. And then we'll wrap up along with any Q&A. So, since we have some new folks on the phone, I just really wanted to take a minute to talk about who we are and what we do at Sister District. We are a grassroots organization that works to win urgent elections to build democratic majorities, strengthen progressive infrastructure, and create enduring power in state legislatures. And a key way that we do that is with the power of our robust network of volunteer teams who support the candidates we have endorsed in key battleground states. This support has come in the form of thousands of actions that have led to victories across the country. In fact, as you can see here on this slide, throughout the last 8 years, Sister District's history, we have flipped 10 chambers. You can see them all listed here. And on the next slide, this is one of my favorite slides because it shows you how these chamber flips, cycle in and cycle out, have come together to create a huge shift of partisan control of state legislative chambers and a true transformation of the map from 2016 until now. For example, I think it's really easy to forget that in 2016, Nevada and Michigan and Pennsylvania were all Republican-held chambers. In Colorado and New Mexico and even Washington and New York were split control. We have made this tremendous impact through our consistent investment in these states. And I think this really drives home why our work at Sister District is so important. And of course, with these victories, we are seeing incredible policy shifts in the states, from the repeal of right to work in my home state of Michigan, which is co-sponsored by several Sister District alums, to the passage of LGBTQ healthcare in Virginia, sponsored by Sister District alum Danica Rome, to abortion rights in Colorado, co-sponsored by Sister District alum Faith Winter, to progress on minimum wage, clean energy, paid family leave, and police reform. And of course, we are also building the candidate pipeline. Washington Congresswoman Emily Randall is a great example of that. We helped her win her state Senate seat in 2018 by just 104 votes. She then won re-election in 2022 by 1,276 votes. And last November, she won her congressional seat by over 57,000 votes. And of course, we are lucky to have amazing alumni all over the country. And so I'm going to turn it over to Head of Campaigns, Taylor Hoagland, so she can introduce you to two of them and you can hear from them yourselves.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, Kermie. Hello, everyone. I am Taylor Hoagland, our head of campaigns here at Sister District, and I am so thrilled to be here with all of you today, but also to introduce two of our Sister District project's most beloved alumni. Both of these elected officials were part of our 2022 endorsements and both integral members in flipping their respective chambers that cycle. Tonight, joining us, we have Senator Darrin Camilleri from Michigan and Representative Johanny Cepeda-Freytiz from Pennsylvania. Welcome to both of you. So good to see you both. Before we get started and dive into your stories as Sister District candidates, would love for you each to take a moment and share the biggest wins or the best news that's coming out of your chambers in your legislative sessions. Senator, I'll hand it off to you first, and then we can go to you, Representative.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having us tonight. And thank you again to Sister District for helping me be in this position in the Democratic majority in the Michigan State Senate. Your support throughout the entirety of our 2022 campaign helped create the pathway for a Democratic trifecta in Michigan for the first time in 40 years, longer than I've been alive. And the fact that we were able to use that Democratic trifecta between 22 and 24 really meant that we could get things done for working people and also roll back a lot of really bad policies that Republicans put in place in the state for decades. The biggest thing that I'm very proud of was the repeal of right to work, which is an anti-union law put in place in 2012. I was the champion and the sponsor of that bill package as the son and grandson of union auto workers. For me, this was a core centerpiece, not only for my own personal story, to be able to protect the right to organize and protect unions and working people, but it's also for my constituency. I have the highest amount of union members out of any state senator in the state of Michigan. And for me to come home and know that I had their back, all of my union members' backs in that fight, was a really big victory for us. When you add in everything else we did, right? Codifying Roe versus Wade protections in the state and repealing the 1931 abortion ban, expanding the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act to include LGBT protections in our civil rights law, to a championed and brand new climate and energy bill package that was one of the best in the country for clean energy laws. All of these things were possible because you invested in me and a lot of our other candidates. So shout out to my sister district teams for all your hard work, all the phone calls, all the postcards, all the fundraising, and I'm really excited for the conversation today.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'll hand it over to you, Representative.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me, and thank you, Sister District, for all the work that you put in to also get me here, right? Because I wouldn't be here without your support, your help, your guidance, your motivation, and the empowerment that I received every time I got on a Zoom call or on a phone call. So thank you so much. We also flipped the seat here in the state of Pennsylvania, and thanks to the flipped seats, the House of Representatives became the majority by 1 vote. So we were able to, that's right. Yes, let's clap it up, although there's some challenges, right? But nonetheless, we were in the minority for a good 12 years. And so we've been strong holding on to this majority. And so very grateful for the work that you do. In terms of some wins that we've accomplished this term, I want to say that we enshrined the Affordable Care Act into the state law. Right, we know that at the federal level, there's so many risks and a lot of threats to our Affordable Health Care Act, and so we were able to codify that into our state law, where there'll be no benefit caps. There's pre-existing protections, free preventive care, dependent coverage to the age of 26. In Pennsylvania, which I thought was a major win. And obviously every day we're working, we're in budget season. Just today, we passed on second the minimum wage increase. Unfortunately, here we are again trying to raise the minimum wage in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Last term, we passed it out of the House, but it died in the Senate. Obviously, the Senate remains majority Republican, and so we're faced with a lot of challenges. And I'll be very honest, I mean, this budget season, I feel like there's just so many uncertainties, and I oftentimes we're put in these predicaments where we have to compromise and negotiate, right? Because we want to win as much as we can and provide the quality work that we were elected to do for all of Pennsylvanians. But it's such a challenge. Dealing with the Senate is yeah, it's troublesome. It's not what I imagined it would be, right? Coming into this space, as a new term member, now serving in my second term, I'm just like, it's very disturbing, I should say, very disturbing. And I don't understand how people such as these often still get reelected. So I know we have a lot more work to do.
For sure. And hopefully we can send you some new friends into the Senate and make some inroads there in 2026 altogether.
I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely.
We can't wait. We can't wait. Well, hearing all this great news and still some of the challenges that we have to face yet, I couldn't be more proud of the work that we collectively did together to get you both elected and in the position to do the necessary, hard, and such rewarding work that you all are doing every day when you go to office. So thank you for all that you guys are doing and the way that you are leading. Which is a great segue into our next question. I would love to know what working with Sister District was like as a candidate, how our partnership impacted your race and your experience running for office. And we can start with you, Representative, and then we can go to the Senator. Oh, the representative may be frozen. So actually, Senator, we can kick it back to you.
Sure, that works.
Absolutely. Well, so I wanted,
She's good. Go ahead.
wait, did you say Senator first and then Representative?
Go ahead,
I will
Rep.
wait. Go ahead.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Rep.
Senator.
You're first.
Go ahead, Darrin.
All right. I'll take it. So, I think a lot about these different groups that come in to help campaigns, and you have really high expectations for a lot of them. And then some you're like, well, I've never heard of this organization, so we'll see what they bring to the table. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's volunteers, sometimes it's just an endorsement that you can put on your website. I didn't know a lot about Sister District. I'd heard a little bit about it from the previous cycle in 2020. And so I didn't exactly know what to expect. I thought, oh, great, we'll get, a couple dozen people to make some phone calls for us, or we might raise, $10,000 from some of the organizing that they bring to the table. But I was blown away by the amount of effort and support that came through from Sister District. Not $10,000, tens of thousands of dollars came my way. Not a couple hundred phone calls. I think we got to like 60,000 phone calls, some ridiculous number that came through from Sister District alone. And that type of work helped chase every absentee ballot that we needed. It helped support, my race in total was over $3 million with the caucus support as well as my own individual campaign. And so that money helped me meet my own internal goals and deadlines. When I didn't know, when the caucus said, hey, we need to put up another TV ad, you need another $15,000. It was Maureen and a bunch of folks from South Bay that said, yeah, we're on this. We're going to do it. And they did, right? They rushed like 15 grand at the last deadline that we were really trying to meet. And those types of things, when I was talking about it to my other colleagues and other candidates across the state, they were unbelievably jealous that I had this team of people behind me. And that is such a difference maker. And you all are such a difference maker in these campaigns, whether it's in Michigan or Pennsylvania or Georgia or wherever else that you've done work. I don't think it was possible without this gigantic organization behind us.
Well, that is so kind. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yes, shout out to all of our teams and volunteers that make this work absolutely possible. Representative, I can hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. So I have to say, my experience, first of all, I was running for the first time for a state position ever. I was a full-time restaurant owner, right? Part-time city council member. In fact, I was serving as city council president. I was also taking care of my dad who had pancreatic cancer. Also still had a child in high school, one that was graduating, wife, all the responsibilities, right? And it was an emotional, challenging year. I had president of council pass away. A week after, it was my husband's cousin who passed away, who was door knocking with me. A week after, as she's going to be buried, my dad passes away. A month later, my aunt passes away. So I was in such turmoil, right? Emotional turmoil. And I feel that through Sister District, right? The support, that people power movement that you created, to make this possible for me, to make this attainable. It's like you gave me the type of support that you don't even know you offered me, right? With the fact that you made me feel like I can do this. You made me feel whole. You made me feel very capable. And I kid you not, I will forever eternally be grateful to the amount of work, to the funding. And, I busted my ass. I mean, I think that this was also therapy for me, right? And working and knocking on doors and kind of like, finding this purpose beyond me. And you just kept me pushing, you kept me going. And, I'm here to tell the story, right? And so I'm very grateful. I think that oftentimes you maybe don't get the gratitude that you deserve, but you have a very transformative impact on every community that you are blessing with your support, with your dollars, with your efforts. And so I'm very grateful. So I just had to get a little personal because, it's hard. I mean, at least for me as a Latina woman, I've always had to work harder to prove myself. And the fact that you didn't know me from a hole in the wall and you took a chance on me. And despite like all my personal stuff that I was going through, you were just there for me and you saw me through, and here I am. And we're going to keep pushing through, and we're going to keep flipping seats, and we're going to, the Democrats are going to have to continue to, take over because we're in trying times. I never imagined in a million years that we'd be here with this man as president and with all the chaos, destruction, and hate that he is causing. And so we need you all. So thank you.
Thank you both for that so much. I really appreciate hearing that, and I know that the folks on the call do as well. Before we let you go, our last and final question for you is simply what your favorite moment or aspect of being a sister district endorsed candidate was during the 2022 cycle. Representative, we can start off with you, and then I can hand it over to the senator.
I enjoyed, I mean, you all organized a fundraiser for me in New York, because I'm originally from New York City. So it was nice going back home and reconnecting and feeling that New York vibe and energy. So I really appreciated that. And then I got to go back and revisit with the same folks in the same group. And so, you know, that always left like an impression. And I just appreciate how, again, as I mentioned before, this people powered movement, right? Because this is across states. This is just almost nationwide. So thank you.
I love that. I love that. And then I'll hand it over to you, Senator.
Thank you. Yeah. Similarly, you don't think that you're going to meet any of you all in person, right? Because the whole point is you're far away and you're helping us on the ground in a faraway state. But I was doing some other fundraising in California because I was helping out Mallory McMorrow, who had just gone famous, and she was doing some trips out in California. So she's like, "Let's go do this thing in California." And I said, "Great. I want to go meet some of my friends from Sister District in California while we're at it." And so, you all put together an event for me in person, and it was one of the coolest moments to see people who had been on a screen for so long helping out my campaign, getting to meet folks and actually hear from you directly and hear your stories directly. So that was one of the shining moments for me, was just putting all the pieces together in person and enjoying community, because that is what this group is, right? It is community. And for a lot of it, it's virtual, but to have that one moment in person was really awesome. So I'm still very grateful for that. And I think a lot about my next campaign coming up in 26. And I know that there's a lot at stake for the state legislatures across the nation. The Michigan Senate specifically is one of the top targeted chambers in the country, just like the Pennsylvania House. I think we're the top two. It's us in Minnesota. We hope that we can get a Democratic trifecta in Michigan again. We're only 4 seats down in the House, but it's going to take a lot of that partnership to ensure that we can flip a few more seats in the Senate, and then again, flip 4 to 5 seats in the House and get us that strong position. So I just want to say thank you and put in my early ask. Please continue to help us, because we're going to need you in 2026.
Well, I am so glad you say that. I am hopeful that all of us stick around and continue to do this work in 2026 all together. Thank you both so much for joining us tonight and for all the work that you are doing to make life better for Michiganders and Pennsylvanians and Americans alike. Before I let you go, though, Senator, I'm actually going to hand it off to you to introduce our next panel.
Yes, I am. Sorry, I want to make sure I have my right notes in front of me. So really, it's been great to have all of you with us today. I want to thank everybody again for being here, whether it's your first Sister District event or you've been around supporting candidates like myself for a couple of different election cycles now. I'm especially grateful to the incredible team leaders across the country who organize phone banks, fundraisers, and other efforts that we've talked about tonight that help get people like me elected. So it is my distinct pleasure, I mentioned her a little bit earlier, to introduce one of those volunteer leaders, Maureen Sheehan. Her leadership in her community, organizing phone banks, fundraisers, and events to help my campaign was a major difference in winning my seat and flipping the Michigan Senate. So we're now going to hear from Sister District South Bay Captain and my friend Maureen Sheehan in a conversation about a new volunteer, with a new volunteer that is exploring building a team in Colorado. Jilly Johnson, yes, both of you, welcome.
Thanks, and thanks to Darrin for that really kind introduction. We had such a good time supporting him and helping him to victory. So often I'm asked, how did I get started with Sister District? So in 2018, I retired and immediately went to work at my local Democratic Volunteer Center. And I phone banked almost every day for months. And then we had the midterm elections and we had the big party. And I said, okay, what do we do now? And they said, Maureen, it's going to be an odd numbered year. We don't do anything. And I was just like, what? Nothing? They said, yeah. And I thought, that's what's wrong with Democrats. But they said, well, if you really want to do something in the unnumbered year, you can go to Sister District. And so they pointed me to Sister District South Bay. And I was at a meeting in January and just have never looked back. It's just been the most incredible experience. The friends I've made, the great work we've done, and the fact that every day I can wake up with hope because of Sister District. So, Jilly, I'm so excited, of course, about Colorado. I used to live in Colorado and still get back there a lot. So, tell us about how you're coming to Sister District.
Well, I am so excited to be here and so inspired. I was invited here by my friend Heidi, who is on the call, Heidi Shell, and she would just talk about the passion she had and the impact that Sister District had and hope. And she kept inviting me to events, and I went to the post-election debrief, and it gave me something I didn't think was possible that I could feel after this election. And that, again, was hope. And so she then put me in contact with Sean Werner. And after meeting Sean and like hearing his story, hearing him talk about Sister District, it reminded me that one person can make a difference. We just have to believe that about ourselves. And again, the thread, I left with so much hope, and hope combined with the strategy and organization of Sister District. I was like, okay, Julie, you have to do something, and now is the time. And so that's why I'm here. And so, Maureen, I'm so excited to pick your brain because I am a brand new volunteer. And so I had a dinner at my house with a bunch of people that live around me in my neighborhood and in my community. And I kept hearing them say, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to feel useful. I don't think I can make a difference. And so I was like, hey, come over to my house. I'm going to invite Sean and we're going to all talk about Sister District. So I had the dinner, and I want to know from you, where do I go from here to lead an effective team for Sister District? Like, what is the next step in the process for me and people who are interested in it?
Well, I think there are a few next steps. One you've taken already by getting together with Sean, because there's Sister District, I call them Big Sister District, but the Sister District HQ staff, as they're formally known, are so incredibly supportive, and they are always there. Always. And there's always someone if you have a question or concern, even if you just need to talk because you're feeling a little discouraged that day. Or conversely, because you just want to share a big triumph. And sometimes it's a small triumph, like getting two new people involved that have never done anything before. So reach out to staff all the time. And you've got great staff with Sean and Nicole to work with you. And then the next thing is chunking it off. You just can't do everything at once, even the best multitasker. So what do you feel passionate about? What is your strength? What is your superpower? Is it event planning like your dinner? And then can you move from event planning, a fundraiser like you had, to fundraising? Fundraising is hard for some people, not for some others, but how do you make that transition? And if you're wondering, again, you've got Sean to bounce things off of. People always talk about postcards as the gateway drug to political activism. And it's so true. We've written hundreds of thousands of postcards in my district. And for some people, that's what they're going to do. And that's great. But then there are other people, and I know my good friend Eloise is on this call. She started as a postcarder, became a phone banker, and now she co-edits our memo, and she's the captain of onboarding. But she didn't start out to be captain of onboarding, so it's a step-by-step process. And to sum it up, patience is key. Yeah, and persistence. A lot of times you have to ask more than once. And always remember that people are going to do what meets their needs. So find the social butterflies. Events will meet their needs. Find the people that live for highlighters on their postcards. That will meet their needs. And then it's the rare breed, but they're out there, phone bankers. I personally love it. Not everybody does, but over time, people do eventually come to it, many of them. So that's what I would say: patience, persistence, and so celebrate every day, every win, even if it's just one new person.
Mm. That's like those small celebrations in order to fuel you to keep going. I'm hearing it's like you can't overlook that. And that's how you build. And so I know that I'm like a little nervous about like being pushy or being salesy, or especially when it comes to like, I don't want to get on my soapbox, and I totally want to get on my soapbox. And so what would you say to people who are nervous about like, I don't want to talk too much or feel like I'm pressuring people? And that comes into the fundraising piece well, because I think that probably plays a key in having a successful team is successful fundraising.
Well, I think one thing that's made our relatively small as compared to some chapters much larger than others is that event planning, fundraising, we do a wide range of activities so that there really is something for everyone. We have a woman, for example, who's a chocolate connoisseur, and she does a sold out chocolate tasting party every year. That's all she does. She doesn't do anything else, and we're thrilled about that. That's enough. And then like this past weekend, then we have another volunteer who every year has an enormous garden party, 50 plus people, silent auction, and that's her jam. So that's what she does. So it's really finding out what people want to do. We're getting ready for the first ever Stitch and Bitch party that we'll be having later on. Can I say that word on this call? We're trying out various needlework. Dump Trump is a popular one. So but I would just say really that's about fundraising is first of all, it's the personal connection. You get people to events not with email blasts, but personal emails like, great seeing you last week at book club. Now, I'm having this event. And it's okay if people just, they know me. Yeah, I'll be talking about it. That's okay. I have my few minutes at each meeting and then we move on. So don't worry about that.
So great. And so you touched on it a little bit, but I want to like kind of hammer this in for myself and for everyone else. Like I'm busy. People are busy. They have families and school and work and the sandwich generation and right. So many things are passionate about. Like, what about time? What would you say for people who are like, but I'm short on time?
Well, you're going to find that busy people just get busier, and that's good because they're going to do more. But you also meet people where they are. So, um, the past few years, our initial captains stepped back and said, we're going to co-edit the memo. And they said, and we're going to keep doing this, Maureen, but we need one thing. And that is we never want to come to a single captain meeting, monthly meeting, no meetings, but we'll do the memo every single week for 7 months of the year. It's a deal. So letting people, allowing them to say, what I do is I meet personally with every captain before the year gets started to find out what can you do this year. I had the infamous year 2 years ago. Every single captain had a child starting college or graduate school. We needed a gigantic spreadsheet to keep track of who would be where, dropping off whom, when, and when they would return. But again, we keep a Google Calendar. We know where people are. We know what they can do. And I think that's the biggest thing. Lily really said it so well. She said, people always want to be heard. And I think that is just the thing. No effort is too small, and of course, no effort is too large.
Hmm. I think I definitely needed to hear that. And what I continue to come back to is like, from Sean, right? From my first conversation with Sean, if like one person can make a difference, and hearing from everyone and everyone's story, and the representative and the senator is like, but you have to step up. If you feel that call, you have to step up. and you have to find a way where your puzzle piece fits into the larger puzzle, and we can find that together. Because I also hear too, like, so much about community is sister district, it is community, it is relationships. And so and that's what I hear is a through thread as well, is this is all about building relationships and cultivating relationships, and that's how we make a change. And so thank you for your advice, and thank you for those tidbits, and I'm so inspired and hope to grow a team that I don't know if it will be as impactful as yours, but I'm going to strive. I'm going to aspire to be like
No
Team Marine.
comparisons. Call me
Hashtag be like
anytime.
Marine. So yeah. So
And I just wanted to say one other thing, and that is thanking people, even the captains that you know are going to show up, whether or not you thank them, always want to be appreciated. We do handwritten notes. I have a deal. One of the captains has a nut-free home, so she comes to my home for her peanut fix every week when we phone bank, and then she brings me caffeinated drinks. Always thank people. Endless written thank you notes. We do dozens every year. And yeah, that's another big part. Thanking people.
Maureen, thank you. And that's what I hear everyone, like, I am new to you, but thank you for everything you do and being an inspiration to people like me and trailblazing the way. And so I am going to pass this off now to Nicole Zambrano, the senior organizing manager. And like, while she's getting ready, like, if you're inspired or like, yes, like, count me in, let's do this, then drop that in the chat and sign up. There's a link below. So thank you all for letting me be here. And Nicole, off to you.
Thank you so much, Maureen and Jilly. I truly can't thank you both enough for joining us. It's so wonderful to hear from you both. And I will say both of you are an inspiration. So truly thank you for taking the time. And hello, everybody. Like Jilly said, my name is Nicole, and I am Sister District's Senior Organizing Manager. I work closely with volunteers and teams in cities and states across the country, and I'm really thrilled to be able to speak to you all tonight, not just about the incredible work that our volunteers do here at Sister District, but about how you can join our community and make a resounding impact at this crucial time. Like our folks were saying, here at Sister District, we like to say that folks come for the cause and stay for the company, right? As you've already heard from our former candidates and our incredible volunteers, Maureen and Jilly, much love. Community is central to the work that we do. With dozens of teams across over 15 states, Sister District has a bustling network of volunteers who are all laser focused on our mission, but do so with a spirit of joy and care and collaboration. Ultimately, we're building a sustainable, long-term infrastructure that is rooted in community and focused on impact. And here are 3 concrete ways that I hope that you can join us. Firstly, we'd love to invite you to start your very own Sister District team. If you're ready to go all in on building a movement with a lasting impact at the state level and beyond, building a chapter may be a really good fit for you. And our experienced staff is here to help at every single step of the way, from helping you find potential volunteers in your area for a dinner party like Chili, or providing the guidance for pretty much any action event that you can imagine, whether it be a phone bank, a fundraiser, or a Halloween-themed dinner party and poker night. I joke, but we understand that one size doesn't fit all. So our staff is dedicated to working with you to tailor your team to the specific goals and strengths that you bring, all while making sure that they align with the things that our campaigns and our candidates most need. Or you can also join an existing team, and you can find our list of chapters on our website at sisterdistrict.com/teams, or indicate your interest in our volunteer interest form, which we'll share in just a minute. If there isn't a team in your area and you're not sure whether you'd like to start your own, please reach out to us. We can help you tailor your involvement to your availability and decide on what the best next steps are for you specifically. All right, next, I would love for us to talk a little bit about joining a phone bank. So if you're not sure whether starting a Sister District team is right for you, or if you're wondering what your new chapter might focus on, I definitely encourage you to join a Sister District phone bank. Phone banking is the #1 most effective action that we can take as remote volunteers across the country, and it's really easy to get started. Just let us know that you're interested in phone banking in our interest form, and our staff will help you jump right into it. When you join your phone bank, you'll be met by our team of experienced phone bank hosts who will provide you with all of the info you need. So a script, list of voters to call, a one-pager on our candidate, and training on how to use our software. If you're looking for something flexible and accessible, phone banking is definitely the way to go. And if you're not sure about phone banking, or you'd like to learn more about what exactly this looks like at Sister District, I would invite you to join me at our upcoming phone bank info session this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, where I'll go over everything that you need to know about how to get started and answer any questions that you might have about our program. All right. Finally, I would love to speak to you just a little bit about talking to your friends and loved ones and encouraging them to take action with you. Jilly spoke about how a good friend, Heidi, right, was her entry point to Sister District. And like many of us on this call, I'm sure, whether you are a member of staff or you're in the audience, I'm sure we all have similar stories. I'm actually here because I had a very close family member of mine invite me out to knock doors when I was 13 years old, and then inspired me to keep going and keep knocking and keep building. So I'd like to invite you to do the same. If you have a friend, a coworker, a neighbor, a loved one, right, someone in your circle who is principled and nervous and watching the news with anxiety, invite them to join you for a phone bank or encourage them to donate to your favorite Sister District candidate. Helping others get involved is the easiest way for us to immediately double our individual impact. And it's more fun to make calls with a friend. So please take a moment to fill out our form and let us know that you would like to spread the word. Our staff will follow up with everything you need. And a thank you to Ash, because here is our QR code for our volunteer interest form, which is also being linked in the chat. I'd like to invite everyone to take a moment and fill out the form. Let us know what action or actions interest you, and our team will follow up with you within the next 24 to 48 hours with next steps. And then finally, for me, right, whether you're new to organizing, new to Sister District, or you've been with us for a little while, I'd like to thank you for seizing on this moment and joining us and making a real difference at this critical time. All right, and with that, I believe I am turning it back to our incredible Executive Director, Sarah Kermey.
Thank you, Nicole, and thank you to all of our speakers. I think now we've had an opportunity to really hear what an impact that we have had and that we can continue to have in the states. And we also understand that, there's a space and a place for everyone to be involved. So we hope that you will sign up on the volunteer form so that you can take action. And as Nicole said, we will find a way that is tailored to you and your time and where you are in this moment. So please take a moment to sign up. And then we'd also love to open it up for questions if anyone has any questions for anyone. Yep, so you can enter your questions in the chat, or there also is a Q&A feature as well. All right, Northwest Connecticut. I'm going to pitch it to our volunteer or our organizing team on if there's a nearby chapter, or we can also follow up with a more tailored way to get involved.
Hey everyone, this is Susan, head of organizing at Sister District. We do not have a chapter in Northwest Connecticut, but we would love to talk to you about other ways to get involved or starting your own team. So just go ahead and fill out that volunteer interest form and we will be in touch as soon as we can. So thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Great, thank you. Okay, what would you say to parents that want to have their teens peacefully protest? I think that is a great way to start to get involved. I myself got involved at a very young age, also was very politically active, and ended up making a career out of it. So I think that's one way to get teens involved. We also would be happy to have them making phone calls or involved with Sister District chapter as well, if that's something that they're interested in, and happy to meet them where they are in their activism. We are always looking for new volunteers, as we've talked about, and happy to have folks of all ages join in the fun. Oh, okay. Yes. So, okay. So it looks like Sean is answering in terms of the phone banking piece for your town. Oh, and I see. Okay, Jim, what does HQ do to proactively set up chapters where they don't exist? So, as some of you know, and as has been referenced on this call, we have a tremendous organizing team, and they work hand in hand with volunteer leaders to help build teams. And also cultivate teams and think through ways to take action, as Maureen talked about, and how to really, continue to cultivate and nourish these teams over time. So if you are interested in potentially starting a team, even if you're not 100% sure, but you might be interested, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to have further conversations about what that looks like. And again, not all the teams are exactly the same, and they don't have to be exactly the same. That's what makes all the teams unique and amazing. And so your team can be tailored again to what you and your friends or a group of potential volunteers are really interested in, and we're happy to have those conversations with you. And yes, so looks like Taylor is following up here for our friends in Florida. Happy to good ways to recruit some new volunteers. Well, I think that between everyone on this call, there's probably a lot of ideas. I know we've got there's a ton of actions coming up. I know that there's one coming up on the 14th in many communities. I think one thing that some of our volunteer teams have done is go to some of these actions and protests and talk to folks about how they can get involved with Sister District. Because obviously these are folks who are very politically inclined and who are interested in taking action. And then I think Susan has also noted, I would say, don't discount your personal network. I think sometimes we, whether it's raising money or recruiting volunteers, tend to think we need to talk to people who we don't know. And sometimes that is the case, but also it's thinking through our own personal network and picking up the phone and calling or texting folks and asking if they want to come to a small house party gathering to learn more about Sister District and how they can get involved. It really, again, can be tailored to you, and it can be a lift that is manageable for you. I think if I've missed a question, sorry, I'm trying to follow the chat while I'm talking. So if I've missed a question, please re-up it. If you don't have much of a personal network, I think, and you just moved there recently, I think again, you can think through ways to kind of meet potentially like-minded people, which I would think would be helpful not only from a sister district building a chapter perspective, but also from a just a personal perspective, if you're looking to get to know people, again, whether that's politically active events or even if it's just your gym or your kids' activities, or I'm not sure what your what kind of your life looks like and your calendar looks like, but I think there's opportunities to just kind of talk to people where you are and see if it's something that they're potentially interested in as well. And then if you do a monthly donation to Sister District HQ, which we very much appreciate, that goes to our HQ, which we use to support all of the infrastructure that we've talked about tonight. So supporting the organizing team, which again, they work directly with our volunteers to help provide structure and support to our volunteer teams who do amazing work. And then we also have a political team who work directly with our candidates. We've got Taylor and Sean on the phone. They are the ones who vet the candidates and then make recommendations around endorsements and then work with them hand in hand throughout the campaigns to provide that political guidance and support, which is so critical, particularly at this level of the ballot where there's just not as much support. So So we greatly appreciate financial support for Sister District HQ as well. All right. I don't know if I think maybe we've gotten to all the questions. I want to thank everyone again for joining us tonight and thank our amazing speakers and panelists. This is, as we know, a really pivotal moment in our country's history, and the work we do right now is going to set the tone for the rest of the cycle. So we've got Virginia coming up this November. We are working very hard to make sure we have good results there as we head into 2026 and are extremely focused as we head into 2026 on our key states. So we appreciate you being on this call and taking action in whatever way you can. And we are here to help you make it not scary and actually really fun. So thank you so much. And we will talk to everyone soon.